Hello, my name is Shivani. A huge welcome to all my viewers. Hope you have all subscribed to my channel. If you haven't done it yet, please hit the subscription button just below. Thank you. Today we are going to discuss the differences between which and that. We'll discuss those differences which are a bit confusing. So let's get going. Here's a sentence for you. This is the dog that or which caught a thief. This is the dog that or which caught a thief. Can you see the two parts of the sentence? Yes, you are right. The first part is this is the dog. And the second part is that or which caught a thief. Now these two parts are known as clauses. Clauses. The second part, that caught a thief or which caught a thief, is known as relative clause or adjective clause because it describes the noun dog. This is the dog, that of which caught a thief. Now, the second part of the sentence or the relative clause is very essential. It gives us a very essential information about the dog, which helps us to identify the particular dog, the dog that caught a thief. Right, so this is known as defining relative clause or relative clause. Remove this part of the sentence. Then the part that is left behind doesn't convey complete sense. In this case, if we remove that or which caught a thief, then what is left behind? This is the dog. It doesn't make complete sense, does it? So, this is very essential. This part is very essential. That is why it's known as restrictive or defining relative clause. It tells us about the dog and it helps us to identify the dog in this case. Right. Now look at another sentence. My friend's house, which overlooks a valley, is very beautiful. Have you noticed? The portion which overlooks a valley is within commas. And this portion gives some extra information about my friend's house. And if you remove this portion, what is left behind? My friend's house is very beautiful. So you see, it still makes complete sense. Right, so this kind of relative clause is known as non-defining relative clause or non-restrictive relative clause. This gives extra information and is separated by commas. And remember, defining relative clause is not separated from the rest of the sentence by commas because it is an essential part of the sentence. You cannot remove it. The relative pronouns which or that are used to introduce relative clauses. They are known as relative pronouns because they relate to the noun that comes immediately before them. For example, in the first sentence, the dog that or which caught a thief. The dog is the noun, and the relative pronoun which or that comes immediately after the noun dog. In the second sentence, my friend's house, which overlooks a valley. House is a noun, and which relative pronoun comes immediately after the noun house, and it refers to the noun. That's why it's known as relative pronoun. Now remember that is used in defining relative clauses, and it refers to people as well as objects or animals. Whereas the relative pronoun which is used to introduce both defining as well as non-defining relative clauses. But it is not used to refer to people. It's very important to remember. We don't use which to refer to people. Which is used only to refer to objects or animals. Now look at the sentence. The girl which is standing next to my sister. This is not correct. We don't say the girl which. What do we say? The girl who is standing next to my sister. Right. So in place of which, we use who, whom, or whose. Whose is used to show possession. So while referring to people, we don't use which, we use who, whom, whose, or that. But that is used only in defining relative clauses. Some more points to remember. With superlatives, we use the relative pronoun that, not which. Right? So remember, with superlatives, only that is used. For example, he's the most intelligent boy that I've ever met. He's the most intelligent boy that I've ever met. Most is used for superlative degrees. That is used with words like everything, everyone, nothing, nobody, none, little, much, all. So with these words, we use the relative pronoun that. Example, there's nothing that can be done now. All the girls that I know are very talkative. All the girls that I know are very talkative. Much that was done has gone waste. Much that was done has gone waste. When the relative pronoun refers to a direct object, then it may be dropped. For example, this is a car that or which I bought last week. So by dropping that or which, it becomes this is the car I bought last week. Instead of saying this is the restaurant which I was talking about, or this is the restaurant that I was talking about, we can simply say this is the restaurant I was talking about. Recap. When some extra information is added, we use which. We don't use that. When essential information is added, we can use both that and which. We don't use which when we refer to people. We use who, whom, or whose. Whose is used to show possession. With superlatives, the relative pronoun that is used. With words like everyone, everything, nothing, nobody, none, all, little, much, again, that is used. When the relative pronoun refers to a direct object, we can drop it. So that brings us to the end of the lesson. We'll be back soon with another video. Till then, bye-bye.